let's review a few of the things that we spoke about previously in leadership. Um, Before I begin, let me sort of create a narrative around why we have this, right? Rizal, why do we have these discussions about mentorship and leadership on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, or just Mondays and Wednesdays at this point?
I think this discussion is for reviewing every leaders in Bukit Vista, such as what we have do, and then review it, and then what we have to do better next on the next action, and then something like that, sir. Like uh apa namanya, like evaluating our leadership and mentorship.
Okay, very good, excellent. And let's go over to Tendi. Tendi, what is the purpose of this particular discussion for you?
Okay. Yeah, I think the mostly the purpose is like getter like how actually uh, we have we what's called we enhance the mentorship skill, and then like discuss it like what is the best practice or the best way to mentor new member, and then like yeah, it I think it's mostly skill share as well.
Okay, got it. All right, and let's go over to Wayana. Babe, what does it mean for you to be here at this discussion?
I think Payment to me is like I want to actually learn being a mentor and also like bring up the problem that I'm facing when practicing being a mentor. And how can my mentee like the basically connect communication, and we have the same goal, but at the moment I don't have that connection with Joseph. Like I give like a mission, like this is the mission of the finance, and then this is the what you call this is the tools, and then what you see in here, and then he didn't pick it out. And I give a task as well, like
Mhm.
oh, this is like the way to find error.
Mhm.
This is like the list of the error. Can you get it done like this weekend? And I see just write down, and then there's no solution. Yeah, it's just I'm having
Okay.
what you call like, is it like my communication bad, and I'm still figuring out like I don't know what the best way to because I give a deadline, and what is the problem, and also I have a trigger, basically a material, but it's still the result is not like what I expected. But I will ask today, like, hey, are you happy with the result that the task that you made, like that.
Okay, that's a little bit too drilled down, but okay, that can be part of our discussion today. Let's go over to Aldo. Aldo, what do you see as the objective of this particular discussion? Why do we get together on Mondays and Wednesdays to talk about mentorship and leadership?
I think the objective itself for this discussion is to find how is the best way for us to be the mentor, to drill the potential out of the mentee,
Mm,
and also how can we um, how can we apply our leadership capabilities to our mentees as well.
okay, very good. Apply leadership capabilities. Let's go over to Lilith. Lilith, welcome. Why are we here on Mondays and Wednesdays? What's sort of like the purpose of us being here?
Uh, Actually, this is the title is about leadership, not about mentorship again.
Mhm.
So maybe train the leadership capability for ourselves basically, and also maybe for the VCL and CL, how can organize the team
Yes.
members.
Okay, very good. So everyone's given very good answers, right? We are here for this specific purpose. There's kind of something else that you're here strategically for, okay? And I'll tell you why, if you don't know already, I'll just kind of reiterate it. So you're here to learn all these experiences, to learn best practices, to also know what the correct expectations should be. Fundamentally, we are unable to really grow as a company unless we have sufficient leadership, as you can imagine. So it's not the headcount, it's not the tools, it's not even related to budget, right? It's related to leadership. If there isn't good enough leadership, then whatever budgets in extra headcount, tools, skills that we absorb into the company, these will not be properly processed, right? So in a way, what I see, let's say as a CEO right now in the company, is this. We are doing quite a lot of work bringing in, let's say, candidates that we think could be useful to everybody in their particular line of work, right? You guys have a mission. If we are saying we're adding more people to your mission, the the rational belief would be you would be able to accomplish your mission better, right? Like I gave you more tools, I gave you more people, I give you more time. Then ideally that mission should be, reduced in time, more capable and such, right? But currently, what we're seeing is that that's not really happening. Even though we add more people, sometimes there's not a good fit. Sometimes we don't know how to lead them. And my expectation at this moment is that we should get better, not better, but we should get better at doing this leadership bit. So, what does better mean? Leadership is a tricky thing. It's not so concrete as learning a skill. It's not so concrete as opening a textbook, reading about how data analytics works, and then executing it. It's not as concrete as, let's say, creating a Facebook campaign. Even though a Facebook campaign is technically very complicated, it has clear results. There's clear sort of steps that you must take, right? Leadership, I think, ultimately requires practice. It took me many years. I'm still not a perfect leader. I'm an okay leader, maybe, but I'm not like a really great leader yet. But I've had a lot more practice than everyone here has. So we need to think of it this way. We need to think of, okay, all right, one, do we want to lead? And I suppose if you guys are here, this is a good indication that you do want to lead, that you do want to inspire other people and you want to transform other people. So that's the first question you got to ask yourself. If you really don't want to lead, then let me know, and then I'll find a way around that. Okay. So first part is you have to want to lead. It's my job to inspire you to want to lead. It's my job to try to get you motivated to find out your correct ZPDs. And I think all of you have it in you actually to lead. But just like anything you do for the first time, whether it's hosting, photography, your first revenue projection, closing your first deal, it takes some experience before you finally get better at it. It takes some experience before you finally get masterful at it. The reason why we have this class here is so that you can improve faster, so that we should be able to see leadership development in a faster way. Now, we had a discussion the other day about like what are the metrics of good leadership, right? And it's actually very clear. It's actually very easy to see if you're a good leader. Look at the work that the people you're leading are doing. That's it. If your team is able to fulfill SLAs easily, if they're able to exceed their SLAs, if they're able to do really amazing work, then whether you know it or not, you're probably a good leader in that case, because that doesn't happen by itself. That happens because of good selection, that happens because of good training, that happens because of good trust, and that happens because we are putting people in the right roles. Okay? So that part, I think, is what I would call, let's say, innate leadership capability. That I would say if you just naturally know how to do that, then you're a very, very capable natural leader. That's very rare. I mean, I'm not that kind of person, right? And I don't think anybody necessarily. Very few people are that kind of persons. So then the other thing is, okay, if you're not an innate leader, how do you become a leader? You need experience. That's why we meet twice a week to talk about this stuff, and we see what everybody's problems are, so we can get that experience as quickly as possible. Um, but whatever happens, remember there's a few missions, right? There's the mission of the company, there's the mission of leadership. So there's a core values. These are all tools that I think are very helpful for helping you make a decision on what to do, left or right. Okay, so let's begin with this part first. Let's actually ask ourselves. There's This is the mission of leadership, right? We've got discovery, we got prioritization, we got problem solving, we got execution. Okay. So over the past few weeks, we've already discovered that we found the main problem here. One of the main problems is that it's hard to delegate. Wayana just brought up another issue with leadership. It sounds like a delegation issue, right? So you delegated somebody a piece of work, and then you're looking at it, and it isn't quite what you expect. What should you do, right? Let's go over to Tendi. Tendi, do you have any new delegation things that you're coming up with that you're seeing?
Yes, I did a new. I just have yesterday new delegation to GB for continuing the Frida work of the bigger training to the staff, and then yeah, but I'm not facing any problem yet because it's just start yesterday, sir.
Okay, that's good. Okay, all right. Let's talk to Rizal. Rizal, have you had any delegation challenges lately or delegation frictions lately?
Yes, sir. I delegate the of creating content from Facebook ads to Gani, but it's not uh, the time deliver is not quite good. So it's like um, uh, time expanding.
Time expansion. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Good.
And also to Cara is mostly is Cara is like have a overwhelm thing. So yeah, the time delivery also is not quite good.
Okay, time delivered. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's go over to Aldo. Aldo, anything on your side that you feel could be delegated better or learn delegation better? Or be a better delegate?
I think it's about the delegation work. So Hasbi is resigning from the internship, but there are some projects that he has. How would you how would I delegate someone project to another person, if you understand what I mean?
Of course. Continuance, right? Succession planning.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Excellent. Let's go next to, oh, there's somebody else here. A. Who is A? Oh, Andre. Oh, Andre, welcome in. Okay. Lillis, what about you? Any sort of challenges that you have with delegation?
Mm, I guess the delegation that actually I don't have capability with. Yeah, I guess I mean the progress is based on the person that I delegated.
Mhm.
So yeah, I can control the timing, but not really really understand with how can I manage the timing. I guess.
Oh, hey, Ibu Yuli. Okay, wait, give a second. I got a visitor. Okay. Okay. Mike. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I see. Ibu Yuli. Okay. Okay. The Lucado owner came by to say hi. Okay. Okay. Lewis, to understand this a little bit better, do you mean delegation on tasks that you don't know how to do yourself, or what did that? Could you clarify that for us so we can understand better?
Um, delegation on wait. For example, let me see my trailer card.
Okay, great. Well, we wait for Lewis. Let's go to Andre.
Yeah.
Andre, anything on your side in terms of delegation that you find challenging right now?
Thank you, sir. I like the idea from Aldo actually. So, how can we classify the work to another person like that?
How to transfer. Okay, all right. Ditto on Aldo. Okay, good. Um, okay, let's start asking the question. Does anybody see a potential solution to anybody else's problem? Let's get you guys to help each other first. Rizal, do you see a potential, let's say, solution to giving a deadline and not seeing the results that you want by that deadline? It's tough, yeah? Okay, let's kind of remember something. Let's remember when we're a delegate, right? So if you've been delegated something and you're not on deadline, generally, do you remember what the reasons were, Rizal? Let's go over to Rizal.
Clear goal.
Okay, all right, interesting. Okay, clear goals. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Okay, clear goals is basically that we can set the goal very clear in the first, and then the delegator is understand what our goal.
Okay, a person taking the delegation understands the goal. Okay, all right, very good. Do you remember any other reasons why maybe as being delegated something, it was hard for you to deliver on deadline?
Mm, First, it's not must have any skills on that,
Mhm.
so they still learn and try, and then not have much activity previously, so uh, it's still not a process excellence yet.
Okay, not PCE enough. Okay, all right, cool. All right, let's see. Let's go over to Tendi. Tendi, how about you? Have you ever been delegated something and been unable to deliver on deadline or unable to deliver?
Yes, I have that in the one project.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I was learned from that as well. So actually, why the people the person that you delegate didn't deliver what's called like deliver in the deadline.
Mhm.
Maybe you this is mostly about the time management, right? So maybe you can help to break down the time budgeting, so make the person that you delegate uh, like allocate their time for your own project. Because for example, like you have deadline like 30 days, then you can count like maybe on the 30 days, like how many hour that usually you do work, and then like what is your free time, and then maybe the free time is you can do for this project maybe 30 minutes per day, so or something. So actually they can budgeting their time on that time, and then how long, and then maybe that will be like help the person that you delegate like understand as well, and then more easier to to work.
Okay, excellent. Over to let's kind of keep on going. Okay, let's go over to Lilith. Lilith, have you ever had any times when you as a delegate have not been able to complete a deadline, and what were your reasons that the deadline was challenging or could not be completed?
Mm, for yes. That's actually not really deadline but progress. Time with Joseph when he's not making progress on BI. So that's I think related to that, not really deadline but time. I mean progress, right? It's related to deadline. If Joseph is not progressing, so there is no reason for completing deadline. So
Mhm.
what I'm doing is asking for more serious to take the work, and then also guide him basically by at first accompanying the progress, like okay, let's do this first, and then after the first steps and we get like the progress, then I only direct, not accompanying again. So that's basically that what I'm doing.
Okay, all right, interesting. Let's this is actually a pretty common issue. So this is one of the first frustrations that most leaders feel when they delegate something. It's like, oh, why is this person unable to actually get this thing done? Why does it have to like take so long? Why is it that's not correct, right? Ultimately, does anybody have any good solutions? Let's go around. Aldo, what do you think could be a good solution to avoiding this type of issue for not meeting deadlines or let's say not getting the progress we want? Is there a way we can simplify the problem and kind of like dig deeper to try to solve it?
In my opinion,
Mhm.
we need to like setting the expectation first, uh, so we know what how is the like how is the skill that they have, how much is the time budget they have, and how the, yeah, if we know how their budget is, then we know how much can we delegate it to them and how long can we have the deadline for them. I think that's the good thing that we need to have when we're delegating something.
Okay, so that sounds like to me, Aldo, that's a measuring ZPD, right?
Yeah.
Okay, ZPD. Okay, all right, got it. And Aldo, what's the best way that we have of measuring ZPD at the moment? What are some ways that we can measure ZPD?
Yeah, I think it's directly ask like how is your workload and that right now, and how advanced they have and in the skill set that we need on the particular project.
Okay. Okay, how do we know that somebody isn't sandbagging, that they're just saying, oh, I have tons to do and I'm so busy, but actually they're not maybe utilizing their full capacity?
Mm, about that, yeah, maybe seeing their calendar or seeing their
Mm,
stuff on their Trello.
mhm.
It's, it's the thing that we can do if they do that.
Okay, interesting. So yeah, that one's where we can don't assume use data, right? That's a good opportunity to put that into place. Let's keep on exploring. Let's see. Lewis, wait, actually, let's go to Wayan. Wayan, do you feel like you have any solutions to any of the time management or sort of breakdowns that we're facing when our delegates don't deliver according to plan?
I'm not sure yet because I try already. Okay. Basically, I give the scope of the work and then I ask Joseph to mark their calendar hour by hour, what to do, so no. And then I asked already twice, but I don't see the calendar being marked. What is the plan to do? And also, I made a paper. Okay, on the 28th, what is the task that you are working on? And also, I give them the task. I give like okay, this is the case, and I give you working on weekend. And yeah, I don't see progress actually on him like.
Okay.
And yeah, and then one day I check like what is going on, like do you have any friction? Oh, I don't know the solution. Okay. Yeah, it's a bit tough.
Okay, got it.
It's, it's like I don't know, he didn't connect the dot, or he's not like try to find a solution. He just like I don't know, just doing a task but not try to figuring out, you know,
Okay,
what is
great.
it's not yeah.
Okay. Not solution seeking. Okay. Okay. Let's ask Lilith a question. Lilith, Joseph went to Itebe, right? Which is a pretty good school, I would imagine. Do you believe that Joseph has a capacity issue, or does he have what maybe sounds more like a motivation issue? What do you think could be the underlying cause of his non-progression?
Yeah, I guess motivation issue.
Okay, great. Okay, so this is also part, I think, of ZPD, right? So I think the very first thing that you have to think about when you delegate something is you kind of have to build up layers of delegation, right? So this is back into, I think this is mostly into estimating ZPD type world, okay? Let's say the best case, like every leader's dream is just to be able to say, here's my vision, please go make it into reality, right? Like I don't have to tell you how, I don't have to tell you what, when, what you're going to do, but this is it. So let's say for example, I just say something easy. I say, make Indonesia amazing, right? Let's say I'm the president. I say, make Indonesia amazing. The best type of candidate can go, I know what you mean. I have an idea about that already. Here I go, right? And they can synthesize, let's say, all the things that they need to do to make Indonesia amazing. So they go, okay, all right, first step, we're gonna make the political system more streamlined. Second step, we're gonna develop better infrastructure. Third step, we're going to increase the education for technology. So they already have ideas in their mind. They're able to discover those, prioritize those, and start problem solving and start executing. That would be, let's say, the holy grail of a perfect delegate, right? They just get what you mean and they can go and start executing it right away. But once again, two minds are never the very same, right? So even if you do have somebody of that capability with the ability to just synthesize a raw idea and deliver a perfect result, chances are along the way you still have to monitor, right? You're still going to have to like check and see, okay, is the result really what things are like? That is a selection thing, right? So if you want that type of person, you should probably select somebody who has a history of doing that before, right? How are you with, let's say, critical thinking? Are you okay with high achievement on low amount of instructions? Do you need, can you, and you can interview people and you can give them tests at the very beginning to see if that type of candidate will actually come through. Let's say, for example, somebody who has maybe done a master's thesis, right? Probably can take something abstract and make it into something more concrete because that's just sort of like the process of that, right? Um, Somebody that was given like a very general idea and was able to create a concrete result. You can look for that in a CV. You can ask questions about that, right? Like, okay, what was the most autonomous project that you've ever done, right? Like, when did you actually do something on your own? And tell me how much guidance you needed. So, first is that on your selection base, right? So, remember, everyone here is involved in selection because when the interns pass through, there's a part where they do their research project, right? That research project that all interns and perhaps all future employees will go through is your way to actually understand, can they do something on their own that makes a demonstration of, can they take an abstract idea, make it into concrete, and deliver it by a certain date. Okay, so that part I think is step one. Step two is, I think the first part of ZPD is probably motivation, right? So if the person doesn't have the right motivation, then no matter how much you put behind it, it might not actually be able to do anything. Back in community management, the idea is never to actually push the elephant from behind. The idea is to put a carrot in front of the elephant and make it move on its own. I believe the same principle is true of mentorship and leadership. That if you feel like you're pushing somebody from behind, then you're probably not creating the right motivation. Now, we can talk a lot about what motivates people. Some people are motivated by fear, right? You need to get this done because I'm not going to tolerate any more mistakes, right? So that's more of an authoritative approach. And I've come to realize that that's okay, right? That's what we call radical candor. That's what we call being like, well, so underlying the motivation could be one of where they don't want to disappoint you, right? You would also like to, let's say, inspire people. At the same point, you say, hey, look, you don't want to mess up, but I believe you can do great things. That kind of moves them over to the side where there is more warmth, there's more reward, and there's more of a sense of achievement. So this part I think is pretty important as a leader, how to correctly motivate people. Whether it's a person, a community, a team, you kind of like working on these two things, right? Um, you sort of have this two levers. You have punishment on one side, and then you have reward on the other. You're gonna have to kind of figure it out actually at some point. What is punishment to some people and what is reward for some people. Everyone's kind of activated differently. But I would say that's the first layer. You need to get the motivation there. If you don't have the motivation, then whatever you plan on next doing is never going to really work, right? You can't do this alone. You need their buy-in. Okay, so that's on the first part of motivation. The second, I think, is understanding capacity. So as a leader, you need to understand kind of like what is. Let's assume the person is properly motivated. They have the correct intention. They want to move forward. Then the question is, do they have the correct skills, right? Do they have the correct skills? Do they have the amount of time that's necessary? And that is part of the capacity equation, right? So if you don't have the skills, you're asking them to do something, then it's really tough, right? Because it's essentially kind of pulling away. It's just don't have the right skills, right? You might need, if they don't have the right skills, you need to build skills. And you can build skills many different ways. The best way to build skills is to ask the person to be a self-learner. Now remember, everybody that we brought in here to Bukit Vista has been qualified as being a self-learner. The HR process is, intentionally screened for that. So a self-learner is great. You can just offer material, training classes, whatever it is, look back on previous things, and I need you to learn this yourself so that you get the right skill in order to be doing this job. But before we actually build skills, you need, as a leader, to define the skills. You need to be knowledgeable about what skills are necessary in order to do the job well. If we're asking somebody to project manage, then we need to ask for project management skills. If we're asking somebody to do data analytics, then we need to ask for data analytical skills. If we're asking somebody to do SEO, they should probably have SEO skills, right? If we're asking somebody to do customer relationship, they need to have some customer relationship skills. So we need to define the skills and set those expectations. You can build the skills, but you don't need to necessarily push the skills yourself. That part, I think everybody understands, is their own obligation to learn the skills. So that part, I think you can delegate to whoever you're delegating to. Okay, and then the second thing is about time. Maybe also the other thing they may need is self-management, right? That could be the other big block. So skill, time, and self-management. Let's take a look at the second thing, time. Time is actually pretty easy in this particular regard. You can ask the person you're delegating to how much bandwidth they have. If they've already accepted it, right, you need to ask yourself, do you believe they estimate their own time very well? All right. This is where you probably need to don't assume use data. So if I say, hey, Tendi, can you take on this project? And Tendi says yes. I go, really? Tendi, show me the time that you would actually do it, right? And then he could show me I have time during this time, and this time, and this time. Okay, then I say, I probably believe you have time. But if I say, okay, Tendi, can you do this? He says yes. And I say, show me the time that you would actually be working on this. What day, what time could you actually allocate for this particular new task? And then Tendi can't show me that time. Then I know, maybe he actually can't do this, right? But similarly, if somebody is, let's say, not being a good estimator of their time, you can find out the opposite way too. They say, no, I don't have any time. So we can just ask, hey, what do you do normally from this time to this time? And they go like, I'm doing this. Okay, good. What do you normally do from this time to this time? I'm doing something else. Okay, so you can find time slots on a person who might be over or underestimating their time bandwidth, but just kind of ask around, dig in a little bit more, and find when you ask people about their time budget, they might not be the best estimator of their own time budgets. Some people are not very busy but feel overwhelmed. Some people are super busy and still feel like they have more time to do more things. It's a little bit like estimating ZPD and asking, are you good at project management? But how is the person supposed to know, right? How's the person supposed to know? So let me show you this psychological. Is it Krug's Dreyer Drugger? I think it's Drugger. Wait, Mount Stupid. Wait, give me a second. Mount Stupid. Dunning Kruger. Yeah, that's it. So The takeaway I want you guys to have today is this, and this is why I'm showing you guys this. Asking a new person to estimate their own skill, to estimate their own time budget, to estimate their own capacity is generally not a good idea, right? You want to get somebody good at doing it, so you might have to lead them to this process. But it's generally not a good idea to trust what they say. And it's not because they're not telling you the truth. It's generally because they just can't figure it out, right? And this is sort of like this psychological effect. And I want to kind of bring this up. This is a really good sort of understanding, okay? This is what in psychology we call the Dunning-Kruger effect. And as a leader, you kind of need to understand that this is happening with the people that you're leading. So when you take a person with no wisdom, no competency, and you ask them, how confident are you to fulfill this project? They'll say, absolutely, I can do it, right? They are at the peak of Mount Stupid. Usually, they have no ability to understand their own capacity or their own ability. So when you ask this stuff and they respond too enthusiastically, um, you're not getting the right answer generally. Okay. So you as a leader need to understand that everybody is going through this process too. And so this is why it's important not for you to ask the person and believe what their capacity is. They're probably completely wrong. Right? You need to know that they probably don't know much and they're probably overestimating or underestimating their confidence level at that. Okay. At some point, at some point later, they will fail, right? Because they'll start realizing I can't do what I promised my boss to do. I can't deliver the deadline that I said I would. And it's because they weren't able to estimate how much time it would actually take to actually get it done. So as their wisdom goes up, they start realizing, oh my God, I'm a failure. I can't deliver on my deadlines. I feel so bad. My supervisors probably think I'm an idiot. But then what happens eventually is that you sort of they, as the mentee, start going up this slope of enlightenment. They start getting a little bit better understanding of what they're able to do, right? And what they're capable of. And then you can start kind of delegating them to estimate their own capacity. Their confidence will start rebuilding as their wisdom starts regaining too as well. Okay? So this I think is an important thing just to keep in track of about understanding the expectation of the development of your mentee that in the very beginning they're probably not very good at estimating their own confidence level or their confidence level won't reflect their capability, okay, but over time it probably will get more and more aligned. Okay, so in this particular aspect, don't assume, use data, ask, and then if you get an answer that you like, still ask for more evidence. If you get an answer that you don't like, ask for more evidence because that's probably the best way. Let's go over to Andre. Andre, does this help a little bit by understanding this particular framework for estimating ZPD of the people you lead?
Yes, sir. I think that's the best way that we can actually do is, yeah, estimating the CVD is pretty broad. You know, we can get a lot of insight from that. It's understanding capacity, capability in the time itself, and what is that? I think this is the best way that we can have for now. I
Okay.
would like to suggest something. I don't know whether if you guys doing this, but in case of delegation, I would we can actually set the due date is not only on the last progress but also on the per every milestone.
Yes.
So we can set every milestone. You want if you need to do this on this due date is this self. You need to do this on this time. You need to do this on this date like that. So maybe will help them to estimating also their ZPD. Okay, I cannot do this on this date on something like that. So
Perfect. Perfect. I think you have the best practice right there. What you should do is ask and then set increasing larger or increase set short milestones. Okay, setting short milestones in the beginning is probably wait let me get exponential series on timeline. Let me see if I can show you a graph of what that would look like. Actually, okay, let's take a look at this graph. Right, Oh, wait. This isn't a good graph. This is actually the opposite of what I want to show you. All right. So let me see if I can find a graph with a dot, 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 dot. What am I looking for? What am I looking for? Okay. Here. Let me just use Sketch then. Yeah. So what you're looking for is probably like this then. Deadline 1 day for the first milestone. Deadline, let's say M1, right? Try to think, if you don't really know the ZPD of somebody, the first deadline should probably be very short, maybe 1 day, right? Come back to me tomorrow with a small indication that you understand this concept, right? And then after that, then you can set deadline maybe a little bit longer, maybe 3 days. And then maybe after that, deadline even longer, deadline 5 days. So never set deadlines that are very long for people that you don't understand their capacity. That is a great way to manage time for both yourself and for the person being led. Let's say, for example, let's go back to what Rizal was saying. So Rizal says that sometimes we have this time expansion, we have time delivery issues, but what if we set the first milestone to be very small, but delivered tomorrow, right? Then we don't have this time expansion. Then we can double check, actually, about whether or not the expectations are set clearly, whether the goals are set clearly, right? So if we haven't set clear goals, then we should know by the first iteration that we haven't set goals. Remember, everyone here is doing this also as a beginner, as a newbie. So when you set goals for people, right, it's probably your very first time that you're doing it. So you need to also set a goal for yourself of setting goals. So you need to check yourself, and you need also the mentee to check themselves. Make sense? So let's just walk away with that simple goal today. Let's just walk away with that goal, right? I will set a goal for you guys to set goals for your delegates by the next meetup. So what I want you guys to do today is this. I want you guys to go and set goals, small goals for everybody who you're leading today. Each set them a goal, right? Just practice. On Wednesday, let's come back and see your progress on those goals. Okay? So let's start with that. I think that could be actually a very good conclusion and actionable that we can do. So set your first goal, and then together as leaders, our goal, my goal to you, is to review the progress on those goals by Wednesday of this week. Is that clear? Okay, so let's double check. We're in a practice mode, so let's make sure that the goal is clear. Rizal, what goal would you like to set for somebody that you're leading? What micro goal that you can set today that we will see result on Wednesday?
Maybe for today is the goal. The content is already done by today, because it's already expanding the time, right? So I would say the goal and content will be ready by today.
Okay, but remember, when we set a goal, it needs to be a micro step, right? So we have to actually ask ourselves a few questions now. Do you feel that Gani is correctly motivated at this point?
Little bit.
Okay, so if he's not motivated, then no matter what kind of goal setting, it won't work, right? So the very first thing is to create motivation. You might need to say to Gani, hey, look, these are my expectations for you. You did not deliver. I have now, and then just wait to see what they say. Wait to see what they say, and then address that. If it's a legitimate issue, meaning it's an issue you believe that currently is your fault, then okay, right? I didn't know, Gani, that this goal was outside your thing. Let's set a smaller goal. But if you believe that it's an issue with their side, then you need to point that out. We expect more. We expect that you inspire delight. We expect that you commit to the mission and vision of this company, and then get that commitment back, and then plan the goal. So if Gani wasn't able, let's say, to achieve his previous goal, then we need to figure out, is he motivated to achieve this goal again? Set the motivation in the correct place. I believe Gani can be motivated. You've known him for a while, right? So then next is then estimate what the correct progress should be. If he had been making progress, right, then you probably can't expect him to make a giant leap in the progress all of a sudden. So then just set a baby goal. Look, you're making this, but it looks like you're moving at this progress per day. So I will expect you to make this much progress after this time, right? I need you to prioritize that. So I think that needs to be the process of goal setting. So, okay, all right. Does that sound good, Rizal?
Yep.
Okay, all right. Let's go over to Andre. Andre, what kind of goal would you like to set?
I don't know, but I was thinking to make sure that we are still kind of thinking to set the correct PIC for the internal, sir. And I want everyone to really understand about the skills and also what the attributes that they want. They really connect into, sir. So whether so when they're working on every working on an SLA for internet answers now, so they would like they have I'm sorry, I lose my word. They are connected into the correct job description like that. So.
Okay, good. So the SLAs are goals, by the way, Andre. So
Yes.
by telling people to follow the SLA is actually telling people to sort of assign to their goals. But Andre, we'll need feedback shorter than that, right? We're going to need some way for you to do a goal and then come back and tell us what, or to set a goal for somebody that you're leading and then come back and tell us what the result for that was.
Noted, sir.
Okay, so what goal would you like to set, Andre?
Um, actually, still confused, sir. Actually.
Okay. So what it means is this, though. Like, well, if you're confused, right, how are you going to set goals for your team, and what does your team expect of you? So on this particular one, okay, Andre, if you're confused, come and ask. Let's find somebody who can teach you, right? Lilith, what goal would you like to set for somebody that you're leading, and see a clear result from that?
Hmm. I guess for perhaps Joseph today, I hope to see the catalog that will deliver to the potential agent.
Mhm.
For tomorrow, perhaps um he get in touch with, I mean, sending the flyer to any agent,
Mhm.
like for example, like 15,
Mhm.
and then for Wednesday, the response from the agent.
Okay, activity goal. Okay, so outreach goal, right? Catalog,
Yeah,
outreach, and response. Okay.
response.
Does he have a particular goal, like right now? Because that sounds like a marketing funnel, right? Does he have a target that he has in the back of his head for how many responses he needs to get back?
Sorry, sir.
Does he know how many responses he needs to get back, Phyllis?
From your explanation before, for the professional networking, sending 10 to 15, perhaps we get like one response, but this is different, I guess.
No, it's the same. We need to set a clear goal, right? So we need to set the end point to be very, very lucid. What is the end result, right? How much of it do we want? The activity doesn't really matter, right? You can send 10, you can send 50, you can send 100, or you can just send one.
Mm.
But we need to say, okay, at the end of this activity, what should you actually see? We don't want to come back and see Joseph just create a lot of activity and say, I tried my best, and because then we're not giving this guy autonomy to figure out how to improve his own work, right? We're just expecting him to follow orders. But if we say, hey, look, this is a tool, this is a method, use this tool and method to create a result. We need to be clear about what that result needs to be. So what do you think should be the goal then, Lilith?
Um, get response like from 3
Yes.
actions.
Okay. Yes, that's like a test, right? Like, hey, get us 3 responses, and then you have passed this stage of your internship, right? That then becomes a goal. Not necessarily. We don't need to necessarily even let's say, okay, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do that. Just give me 3 responses, and let's see how you do. First milestone, let's say you need to build a flyer. Okay, so if you need 3 responses by a certain time, but we also need to set a deadline to that. 3 responses by when, Lilith?
Wednesday,
By Wednesday. What time on Wednesday?
Before this, during the scrum, I guess.
Okay, so let's say Wednesday, 4 o'clock, right? That's a clear goal, right? That will have a clear either success or fail on it, and we can see how Joseph does. Okay, and let's go over to Wayana. Wayana, do you have any goals that you'd like to create?
Basically the goal is like what you call by the end of the month, all the owner have to be paid.
Okay, that's not a short timeline, right? That's a very long timeline. So, what is it that you need to do? Let's say, how can you set a goal so that we can see some result by Wednesday that helps you accomplish
Oh,
the goal?
actually, I do have like a list, like the owner that payment when
Mhm.
656 have to be paid like in a range 1 week next.
Okay, but what should you see by Wednesday? What should happen by a certain time?
For that task, actually, I have daily task. So like contacting like
You
the
have
owner.
daily tasks, but what is the goal for Joseph, or what's the goal for the person that you're leading?
Oh, okay. The goal like for until Wednesday or like for the long term.
No, just we're practicing right now setting goals, right? Because this is something that we want to do better. So, what goal would you like?
Wednesday, like the payment that went to 6056 have to be paid.
Okay, and do you have an estimate for how much work that is?
Um, how much like if beginner like checking that will be like it's like simple case it will be like 5 minutes. It's like super complex is 30 minutes.
Okay, great. Do you see kind of like where there could be some problems here, right? So Lilith is setting a goal for Joseph. You're setting a goal for Joseph, right? And
Mhm.
Lilith has kind of already seen some milestones happen, right? Let's say Joseph already has the flyer, has an outreach people, and he just needs to do the outreach, right? So that arc is kind of clear, at least in terms of how much time budget that might take. But this arc is unclear about how much time budget it takes. How many accounts need to be paid? How much time does it take per account? What is the maximum thing? So, would you be able to estimate a little bit more closely how much time it would take for, let's say, this particular task to be done?
Actually, I have a budget like the first hour in the morning, so contacting the owner that payment basically set
Total pile of work,
expectation.
the total pile of work, not what the budget of each day is, but how much work. Like if we're talking about, let's say, there's a big pile of potatoes and they all need to be peeled. How big is that pile of potatoes, and how quickly do they need to be peeled in order to hit the next stage? Okay, think about it. Think about it. Right, that part you need to think about. Let's go over to Tendi. Tendi, what sort of goal would you like to set for people on your team?
Okay, so actually I would like to set the goals for Rafik. So on the Wednesday, invited and get the Facebook ID of the owner.
Okay, by Wednesday, invite.
10 owner that pass CSC, and then 10 owner is the not CSC yet for the MVP.
Okay, 10 owners for CSC. I don't understand actually. That goal doesn't sound clear to me. So, what is the goal? You want to invite 10 owners, or you want to get 10 owners to come, or
20 owners total, sir.
okay? So you want to invite 20 owners.
10 owners that pass CSC, and then 10 owners that not in CSC yet.
Okay. Okay, that still isn't very clear to me. You want to invite 10 owners, but you're thinking that you'll pass 10 and the other 10 won't pass.
So like this, sir. So I create the Facebook group, right? So I would like to Rafik to invite the owner to the group. The owner has already passed the CSC certified, and then 10 owner that not in the past the CSC yet.
Great.
So let's see it's trigger or not.
Excellent. But Tendi, that's not a goal yet. That's an activity, right?
Mhm.
If just inviting people is an activity, it doesn't actually create the end result. Do you want 10 actual members or do you want 10 invitations?
I think the member is already like the 10 member join the group.
Okay, 10 members joining a group, yeah? Okay. So then it doesn't matter what the activity is, right? It doesn't matter how many people you actually invite. You can invite 100 or 20 or whatever, so you need at least 10. That is basically what an SLA is, right? So instead of actually saying, okay, I will invite that many, I will deliver this many, right? And then that gives people the creativity to go and figure out how to make it happen. Okay, so we got 10 members into the group. However many people you want to invite, Tendi, that is your business, right? And Rafik's business. But at the end, you should see 10 people in this group by Wednesday, which is pretty challenging actually. But okay, all right, let's see how it goes. Let's go over to Aldo. Aldo, any idea of a goal that you'd like to set?
I'm thinking to have the delegator for Hasbi's projects and see what the game plan of the delegators will be on Wednesday.
Okay, what are Haxby's projects at the moment, Aldo?
It's the long-term page and also the Trevor Harris one.
And the second one is what?
The partnership with Trevor Harris, the one at South Africa.
Oh, right. Okay, all right. Partnership with South Africa. That's okay. Yes. Okay, got it. All right. So let's try this then, everyone, right? Let's try to get in the practice of setting goals. In fact, here, just to make this shorter, I want everybody to just Slack me by the end of today, okay, with a goal, a clear goal that they would like to delegate to somebody, okay? Pass it to me before 3 o'clock today, okay? Pass it to me. And then I want to review it today, okay? So I'll take a look at your goal and see, have you defined your goals well? Is it clear, let's say, from another person's perspective, what your goals are so that you can issue that? And by 5 o'clock today, okay, so I need everyone to get back to me by 3, but by 5 o'clock today, you can issue your goals to the people that you're leading, okay? If you want to deliver your goals sooner to me, that's fine. I will take a priority to check your goal, and then you can send your goal to the person you're leading even faster. Let's get into the practice of setting goals, okay? That's my goal for everyone today. So please send me your goal proposals by 3, and then by 5, we should clear all those out, and those goals should go out to everybody, and then people will have Tuesday and Wednesday to be able to come back. By Wednesday morning, we should be able to see what happens. Your delegates will essentially get one solid day to work on the goal, which is Tuesday, which is a good day. Tuesday, generally, we don't have too many meetings, so it's a little bit more free, okay? So that is how we're going to practice goal setting, and we're going to keep on doing that until we get more proficient at goal setting, okay? Use the SLAs, by the way, to set your goals. The SLAs are goals by themselves, so just by attaching people to that and asking people to commit to the SLAs, that's another aspect of goal setting. But let's try just a small micro goal for the time being and see how far we go. Okay, is everyone clear what the goals are for yourselves today? Rizal, are you clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Diana, are you clear?
Yeah.
Okay, Aldo, are you clear?
Yes, sir.
Tendi?
Yes, sir.
Lilith?
Yes, sir.
Okay, excellent. So let's practice. And I will write together in the leadership group just to remind, and then we'll start seeing the results at 3 o'clock today. Okay? Practice, and then we'll get this perfect. Okay, have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.